I had seen the original Blair Witch film many years ago, and it stuck in my head as a unique idea: the found footage, first-person perspective horror. That's basically where all these new games are getting their inspiration from. These horror games, where you have a video recorder, and it's in first person, that idea originated in the Blair Witch movie. And the developer of this game is Bloober Team, which is also the developer of the recent Silent Hill 2 remake. So let's see where some of their origins are, going back to some of their earlier horror games, such as Blair Witch. In this game, it loosely follows the idea of the movie. You go into the forest to find a missing child. That's where the game starts. There's a search party, and you're part of it. You've got a cell phone that you can pull out anytime, which has all sorts of settings on it that you can press, like phone book, text messages, and you can even play cell phone games and charge your ringtone, which is pointless, but adds to the immersion. So you're in the forest, you get cell phone calls from the sheriff, who leads the search party. You also call your wife a lot to relay how things are going as you search around the woods finding clues. However, there's one drastically important detail. You also have your pet dog, Bullet, with you for almost the entire game. Unlike other games that have quest markers or quest logs, or arrows telling you where to go, in this game the dog pretty much acts as the quest log. You have this dog that follows you around, or frequently will keep barking for your attention, and then tells you where to go and leads you to progress. You can press a button to pull up a radial menu to give the dog different commands, like seek, or try to find objects or progress. You can pet him, which apparently influences the ending in some way, and a few other things like that. The dog becomes integral to the identity of this game, and becomes one of the main focus of the narrative. There's a lot of voice acting, and you constantly talk to your dog, and there's even a mechanic where if you get separated from the dog for too long, then you start to go insane from isolation or something like this. So you're initially just wandering around in the forest in the daylight, looking for clues, but soon enough, you find yourself with a VHS camera, and then you go around finding tapes to put into it. These tapes reveal creepy things happening in the vicinity, and they even have this mechanic where you play/pause the tapes at certain times, and it unlocks progress in the game world. I thought this mechanic would suck at first, and be confusing to figure out where to pause, but it wasn't too bad, and you don't have to do it too often. And quickly things turn weird. You start to get all sorts of flashbacks from some kind of Middle East war, hinting that you were a soldier and you have PTSD. You get yourself into all sorts of surreal situations, such as this part where you have to turn on car lights and you can listen to the radio, and people on the radio are hinting that something isn't quite right. And you come across a lot of these twisted stick figures, which scare your dog, and you can destroy them. The atmosphere is very engrossing and immersive. The daylight quickly turns to night, and you spend most of the rest of the game blindly wandering around in the forest in pitch blackness with only your dog for support. You start to feel a sense of bonding with this dog too, and you don't want anything bad to happen to him, because the animations and sound effects and the dog's reactions are very well done. The writing at times, though, can be a little bit stupid. For example, your main character is hell-bent on staying in this forest and finding the lost child. It's like he wants to be seen as a hero. It's weird because realistically speaking, multiple times you have cell phone reception, and you could just dial 911 and let them know you've discovered some insane psychopath lurking in the woods, and that's why this kid has gone missing. But you don't. You call your wife multiple times, and she's telling you to come home, but you don't. Despite having witnessed so much crazy shit, why wouldn't you just call for backup? Not sure if I missed something there, but it just didn't make any sense. As the game progresses, you come across a few threats, such as these weird grass monsters, which are just like blowing balls of grass that instantly kill you. They were kind of stupid, but they don't last long. You get into segments like the movie, where you get trapped into a loop unless you go in a certain direction. You have to stop and listen, and follow your dog's barking. Then other times, you have these super fast monsters that stalk you in the woods, that you can shine your flashlight on to stop them from attacking you. But other than that, there's not really all that many threats or monsters in the game. Only a few times you encounter anything threatening. The game isn't much visceral threatening horror, but a slow buildup of tension and suspense, with atmosphere and immersion, making you feel like you're actually lost in the woods, and something sinister is taking place. It's a short game, and there's not all that much to say. The bulk of it is walking around in the forest with your flashlight, which has infinite batteries. So there's nothing to collect really. A few times I was annoyed by how stupid and specific parts of progress were. For example, one point I saw an object under a wall, which I should have easily been able to crawl under and grab. But no, you have to stand at a specific point outside a window, and then an icon of a dog pops up, and you tell your dog to get it for you. The game could have used a bit more intense horror segments, as much of it really is just walking around doing nothing. The game definitely has a ton of elements of psychological horror, where things keep messing with your mind, and you're not sure if it's real or not, such as getting fake phone calls and text messages from people, getting texts that say look up, stuff like that. Other times you get weird flashbacks and start talking to yourself like you're someone else. But really, I think the highlight of the game is the last hour or so, when you find the old house and go inside it, which turns into this long, looping, endless maze of psychological terror, getting all sorts of crazy flashbacks and visions, having to look at the night vision on your camera to avoid monsters, all the while getting taunted by the witch to do certain things you're not sure if you should do or not. This segment is a long, drawn-out, oppressive trial of non-stop horror. I thought it was pretty well done. Maybe it was a bit too long, but I can see the purpose of that too, trying to make you feel drained and lost. Just like the films, a key point of the plot is that you're stuck in a loop, and you're desperate to get out. The thing that I'm undecided on, if I like or not, is that the game purposefully misleads you at multiple parts. It's virtually impossible that anyone will get the good ending on the first playthrough, because in order to do so, you have to somehow know to not destroy any of the stick totems, not shine your flashlight on any of the monsters, and stuff like that. Who the hell would avoid doing that? And the whole game you're basically being told to do these things, by the dog being afraid of the totems, by shining your light at the monsters working to scare them away, etc. There's also another segment where your dog gets injured, and for 10 minutes straight, you're just stuck in a loop carrying him, seemingly not making any progress, even with writing all over the walls, saying, "Let dying dogs lie." The game is telling you to just drop the dog, but actually if you keep walking around in a loop for 10 minutes straight, you pass out and the dog survives. Luckily I just kept walking. But yeah, it's like the game is purposely trying to set you up for failure. And of course I got the bad ending, like everyone else the first time around, where you, spoiler, turn into Carver, the bad guy. But at least my dog survived. Yeah, the ending stuff is weird, because like I said, no one is going to get the good ending on the first try. You can also find a battery at the end of the game, so the only way to use it is to do another playthrough, and use it in the bunker at the beginning of the game. Like what? How are you supposed to know that? I guess the devs really want the game to be similar to the spirit of the movie, where you really are stuck in a loop, replaying the same thing over and over. But I don't know if I actually want to play the game a half dozen times. They probably could have done this differently. The game's graphics and presentation are mostly stunning. That's the thing about these walking simulator games. A large part of why they work is because they have top-notch graphics that really pull you into the world and make you feel like you're inside of the game world. It's like one step away from a VR experience. The sounds, visuals, especially playing in the dark, all help to rope you in. It's got some amazing shaders and shadow technology, and the way the trees seem to wrap around you does make you feel dazzled and lost in the forest to some unknown threat. That's another thing. When you do die in this game, it's not like you get a big game over screen and have to reload and wait 40 seconds, like some other games. Nope. When you die in this game, you kinda just instantly wake up a small distance away from where you were. I actually like this, because it doesn't really take you out of the immersion and feel too gamey. You sort of feel like you're still in the game world, but just the ghost is fucking with you. In these kind of horror games, dying over and over and watching game overs and loading screens actually takes away from the experience for me. I lose suspense, I lose tension, I lose fear. It starts to feel like a stupid arcade game. But Blair Witch doesn't do this. It keeps you in the immersion. It doesn't rip you away to see a loading screen or tell you game over. It keeps you immersed and treats death as yet another psychological phenomenon. Overall, I actually liked it as a short game. It's only about 4 or 5 hours long. You can beat it in a session or two. And it's packed full of atmosphere and good voice acting. The dog mechanic is unique and immersive, because instead of quest markers, you have this dog that helps you. But yeah, I think there could have been more in-your-face horror. And maybe some of the monsters really aren't true to Blair Witch. They don't look that terrifying, really. I know the movie doesn't really have any monsters, does it? But still, I think they could have come up with something better than a leaf monster and some humanoid thing in the bushes. Being basically forced into the bad ending is off-putting as well. I'm not sure what I think about that. It's kind of funny that the devs troll you like that, but also shitty knowing that there was no possible way I could have gotten the good ending on the first time around. 7 out of 10.
Alice, no! Get a hold of yourself! No!